Hey guys, Joe here. It's time for Run 'em Up. We're going to talk some MLB picks, props, and predictions for Tuesday, April 4th. Now, looking at the lineups tonight, I got 3 games I want to go over with you guys. We're going to start firstly with the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Kansas City Royals. We'll then look at the Detroit Tigers taking on the Houston Astros and finish it up with the last game here, the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Oakland A's. So let's turn to the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Kansas City Royals. I'm looking at Toronto to run them up today. I'm going to take their team total over 5.5. Toronto is so strong hitting off of left-handed starters, and Chris Pikkit coming out here for the Kansas City Royals. He had a 5.58 ERA last season, and I do think that we will see Toronto hit nicely off of him. Now, Toronto's coming in at a minus 170 favorite in this matchup, plus 145 for the Royals, and this total is sky high at 10. I'm counting on Toronto to put up these runs, but I do think Kansas City will get the runs on the board as well. Kikuchi is starting for the Toronto Blue Jays. So give me the Toronto Blue Jays team total over 5.5 to run them up, and I expect this full game to go over that total of 10. The next game we're going to look at is the Detroit Tigers taking on the Houston Astros. Now, the Astros a large favorite here, laying minus 285 on the money line at home, plus 240 here for the Detroit Tigers, and a low total of 7.5. Now, looking at yesterday's outcome, we did see the Tigers and the Astros go way over the total, with the Tigers winning that one 7-6. Coming out of that first 5 innings, we had these two teams tied up for a piece. Now, this isn't like these two teams. They normally don't run them up versus each other. I'm expecting a lower scoring game in this one. I'm looking at that first 5. Looking at this pitching matchup, I think both pitchers will come out and have solid days. Now, Matt Manning last season had a 3.43 ERA. Valdez is coming out for the Houston Astros, and I trust in his ability to limit the Tigers' bats today. He's had 5 career appearances versus the Detroit Tigers with a 3.12 ERA in those 5 games. Looking at his strikeout ability here, the last 3 games versus the Tigers, he did record 8 strikeouts in one, 7 and 6 in the other. His numbers today coming in at over 6.5 strikeouts is juiced at minus 152. If you take it to over 7.5 strikeouts, you're getting plus money at plus 125, and I don't hate it in this one. So trying to find value between these two, I do think hitting that under in the first 5 innings is where the value is at. Looking for both of these pitchers to come out strong. The under 4.5 is coming in at minus 134. Okay, last but not least, let's look at the matchup between the Cleveland Guardians and the Oakland A's. Now, this is going to be quite the pitching matchup where I look at one pitcher to dominate and the other one to struggle. The Oakland A's pitcher, J.P. Sears, I don't have faith in. I don't trust him here. He struggled last year with the Yankees. He'll be going up against Shane Bieber here for the Cleveland Guardians, and to say Shane Bieber will dominate, I think, is an understatement in this one. Looking for a really strong performance out of Shane Bieber, and for him to go over his 6.5 strikeouts, that's coming in at plus 112. In his last meeting versus the Oakland A's, he did record 7 strikeouts in 7 innings, and I expect him to do the same in this one. The Cleveland Guardians coming in at minus 180, the Oakland A's at plus 155. You got to ride with the Cleveland Guardians on that run line, laying the 1.5. I do think it's a really solid way to go in this, because I do look at the pitching matchup and I expect Cleveland's Shane Bieber to completely dominate in this one. If you want to take the Cleveland Guardians in the first 5 on that run line, I think it's another solid way to go. You guys, thanks so much for joining me here on Run 'em Up for your MLB picks, props, and predictions for Tuesday, April 4th. All the best in all of your bets.